Hello, charting friends. This is Joey from the Chart Guys. I've been trading full-time for 7 years, learning under Dan for 6 of them, and I'm here to talk about the markets after this big old bear day we had on the heels of the CPI reaction this morning. And the big question is this the start of a bigger picture momentum shift back to bears, or is it simply daily consolidation? Let's dive on into the charts and define what we're looking at as we look to answer that question. So looking at ES, the S&P 500 futures here, we can see that this was the most impulsive bear day we've had since the October lows. So that is notable, but at the end of the day, it's still just a sucker punch. Y'all have heard Dan talk about it many times. It's one thing to get your sucker punch in, but you need to confirm the downtrend after if it's going to be anything more than a sucker punch. So if bears were able to do that and confirm a daily downtrend from here, that would be our first daily downtrend since October, mid-October. So that would be notable. But at this point, when we zoom in, we're still looking for a daily higher low compared to 48.66, and we've got a good deal of space to work with for that. So bears have created enough room to attempt a daily lower high compared to all-time highs next bounce. So we kind of have a split between bulls and bears. In the short term, the burden of proof is on bulls to set a daily higher low. In the bigger picture, burden of proof is on bears to confirm a daily downtrend. If bears do not confirm a daily downtrend from here, then it is just business as usual for broad market bulls. And even if bears do confirm a daily downtrend, we'll still be looking for a weekly higher low. And we have a lot of room above the weekly 12 EMA. So if we're talking bigger picture momentum shift, the weekly 12 EMA would need to be lost, and we're still quite far above that at this point. So let's look at the S&P 500 for our levels as we determine what do bulls need to do in the short term to get a daily bounce underway. We've got an hourly downtrend guide, decent hourly bounce into the end of the day, but anything below 495.85 would be an hourly lower high. Aggressive bulls are going to be looking to play off of the low of today tomorrow, looking for an hourly higher low, looking for an hourly trend change and bull break above 495.85 to get a daily bounce underway. That's what we're looking at in the short term. If we get that daily bounce underway, anything below 503.50 would be a daily lower high. And the question would be, again, can bears confirm a daily downtrend to get weekly consolidation underway with confidence? Or do bulls retrace most of this move and give themselves enough space to keep the daily uptrend intact? So that is what we're looking at on the S&P 500. QQQ is very similar here, or we'll start off with NQ. So we know that bigger picture, as long as weekly 12 EMA is support, then bulls are chilling. This is certainly a strong move off of the top, and bears have room for a daily lower high, but same thing. Can bears confirm a daily downtrend from here? We still have a lot of room for a daily higher low compared to 17,221. And like SPY, we'll go to QQQ for our intraday levels. It's all about our hourly downtrend. So decent hourly bounce underway into the end of the day. Anything below 431.27 would be an hourly lower high. And bulls will be looking for an hourly higher low, playing off of the low of today tomorrow, trying to see if bulls can get this daily bounce underway from here. If we bounce a little bit more overnight here, we'd have a potential inverse head and shoulders set up to get that daily bounce underway, and that is that. So lead bear today, IWM, and to the dismay of small cap and growth bulls, because we were watching for them to be laggards. We knew they had relative weakness from December onwards, pretty much all of 2024, relative weakness. And then the hunt was for further rotation. As the broad market stays strong, you look for rotation through the weaker sectors. And we got 3 excellent days of that rotation, broke our weekly equilibrium to the upside, and then absolute lead bear here today. At the low of day, we were down 4.88%. So not a great look, and not confidence inducing for further rotation into small caps, because if we were going to see that rotation hold on through, then you would have anticipated that small caps would have held on better today, like semiconductors. That is a fine daily pullback there. But IWM absolutely smoked. Anything below 203.55 going to be a daily lower high next bounce. And while the bigger picture structure is different than SPY and QQQ, the next daily trend will still be very crucial. Do bears confirm a daily downtrend from here and show us that this is not a sucker punch, or do bulls bounce big enough to stay within a daily EQ from here? We know that there's a ton of room for a daily lower high, but the bounce retracement will be crucial. And if bears confirm a daily downtrend on IWM, that will increase the odds that perhaps we have some monthly consolidation looking to shape up here within this kind of megaphone. That is pretty much a textbook megaphone there, so it wouldn't be shocking to see monthly consolidation. It was looking like bears were fending it off well yesterday, but stark difference here today. So it's going to be about the hourly downtrend as well. Much weaker bounce into the end of the day. Anything below 197.63 going to be an hourly lower high. Bull's going to need a bit more bounce to set up a potential inverse head and shoulders, and we'll just trust our hourly downtrend on this move down. That's going to need to shift if we're going to get a daily bounce underway. So looking at XLF, we lost our daily uptrend, and we've got weekly consolidation underway here. So low of last week has been broken. Anything over 36.95 going to be a weekly higher low. And as long as bulls are holding weekly 12 EMA, they are fine. If bears want to see deeper daily or weekly consolidation, they've got to confirm a daily downtrend. You'll notice it's going to be the same thing on a lot of names. Can bears confirm a daily downtrend? And at this point, we have bulls defending 38.25 support. And despite the fact that we are consolidating on the weekly, this could very well just continue being an equilibrium here. So if bulls are going to get a daily bounce underway tomorrow, they're going to need to confirm an hourly uptrend. One of the larger hourly bounces into the end of the day. Hourly lower high resistance is 38.85, and bulls need to hold the low of today and then break ultimately the high of today if they want to get that daily bounce underway. So looking at XLV, definitely held on a bit better here today than peers. I'm just viewing this as one move down on the daily and going to call anything over 139.87 a daily higher low. And like everybody else, hourly downtrend is going to be our guide in the short term. Anything below 143.50 going to be an hourly lower high next bounce. Bulls got to regain an hourly uptrend if they want to get a daily higher low set. And if bears want to hang their hat on anything, they need to confirm a daily downtrend from here. But there's not nearly as much room created for a daily lower high compared to 145.03 as we see on SPY, QQQ, IWM. So still holding on pretty well in the scheme of things. And weekly stair step, if we were to lose the low of last week, 141.78, that'd be weekly consolidation. And we would be looking for weekly higher lows, anything over 137.21. So looking at semiconductors, definitely held on well today, gap down, and we had relative strength throughout most of the day. If we look at the 15-minute chart here, we can see low of day hit right in the morning. That's the same thing as QQQ and SPY, but QQQ went to a new low of day. SPY went to a new low of day with a decent bit of follow through. IWM, new low of day. XLF, new low of day. XLV, new low of day. SMH, held low of day. That's your relative strength. So we're looking at an hourly equilibrium into tomorrow. Anything below 201.56 would be an hourly lower high, and the direction this tightening range breaks will determine, do we have a healthy daily higher low set holding the 12 EMA, or do we see deeper daily consolidation that would then start to create room for a daily lower high next bounce? So if we look at some other semiconductors, NVDA, I mean, you would never know that QQQ is down over 2% at one point today because NVDA just is shaking it off easy. So bulls got to break the high of today tomorrow to get another daily higher low set. We've got earnings coming up. Let's see, is that next Wednesday? That is next Wednesday. So, perhaps bulls are a bit eager to by the semiconductor dips because they're looking to these earnings that have been crushing consistently here. So NVDA still very strong. Got to confirm the hourly uptrend tomorrow to get that daily higher low set. And SMCI, you would just never know that the market was dumping here today. Daily stair step still intact. 4-hour 12 EMA still intact. It's a clear 12 EMA rider. And as long as that's intact, then bulls are in full control here up in blue skies. So semiconductors, definitely the strong ones here today. XBI grouped in with IWM and got absolutely smoked. Absolutely smoked. So we had like a 3-day, 2-day tightening range, bull break, and defense of the highs from bears at 94.32 and given it almost all back. So same as IWM, the big question will be, can bears confirm a daily downtrend from here, or can bulls bounce big enough to stay within a daily equilibrium? If bears confirm the daily downtrend, that will increase the odds that we have monthly consolidation shaping on up, and bears would have to take out 86 clean to get that underway. So weaker here today, not nearly the bounce into the end of the day that we saw across much of the market. Anything below 90.41 going to be an hourly lower high. Got to regain an hourly uptrend if we're talking about a daily bounce getting underway. So the VIX, absolute crazy day. So we got the clue yesterday when the broad market was going up and the VIX was up. Typically, when you see that divergence, it's only a matter of time before the broad market sees some pullback. It's a pretty reliable indicator, but there was no way to anticipate that the VIX would be from low of day to high of day over 33%. Absolutely crazy move, but this is where multiple time frame analysis comes into play. Huge move, but what is that? That's a monthly bounce seeing some follow through, and we know we're looking for a monthly lower high compared to 2308. So huge candle range here today. Probably going to need a couple more days to give us some structure, because ultimately we've got like a hourly uptrend that we can be watching for structure on the VIX in the meantime. But until we break the high of today or the low of today, nothing is massively changing here, and we're very far from both at this point. So I'm going to be watching hourly uptrend on the VIX. Broad market bulls looking for some bounce want to see the VIX lose the hourly uptrend, lose hourly EMAs. So at this point, those are around 1522, and going to need to see those lost to have confidence in a broad market bounce. So looking at gold here, we've got bears trying to break our weekly equilibrium to the downside. It's technically broken by a skosh at this point, and what that does is it gets our monthly consolidation underway. So we'll certainly be looking for a monthly high or low, but we have now a weekly downtrend despite the lack of follow through. It is what it is. So if bulls want to defend these lows, which we are very oversold in the short term, it's not the environment conducive for follow through. When you're torqued on your RSI levels, breaking a key level, whether it be to the upside or the downside, it's difficult to see follow through on that. So if bulls are going to save this support, they need to regain a 4-hour uptrend as step one. Tons of room for a 4-hour lower high compared to 2047.3. And that is that. Let's see what we've got on the daily. We've got a nice daily downtrend as well. So if bulls are going to regain anything, got to regain a 4-hour uptrend, got to regain a daily uptrend, and we'll just only map it out that far at this point. So silver, also disappointing here. We know we're looking for a monthly high or low, and bulls are just struggling to get it shaped on up. So we had a weekly bounce and inability to confirm a daily uptrend. Then we had another weekly bounce and an inability to confirm the daily uptrend. When we go in here and look at it, big old bounce, no uptrend, no continuation. Give it all back. Big old bounce, no uptrend, no continuation. Give it all back. So we're just continuing to watch this daily downtrend. Same as gold, tons of room for a 4-hour lower high next bounce. And metals bulls want to see silver come to life, and you got to see miners come to life. Miners are absolutely smoked. Miners are absolutely smoked. We have GDX on the verge of monthly lower lows. Last support down here is 25.21. And the reason why you want to see silver and miners strong is because you want to see people having confidence in your higher risk assets, which are silver and the miners. So you can be looking at the gold silver ratio or the GDX GLD ratio to kind of get an under the hood view of what's the relationship between gold and these higher risk assets. You want to see the higher risk assets leading, and that's just not what we've got at this point. So oil, we have a little bit of green out there today, and bulls confirming a daily bull flag. So at the end of this pullback here, the first week of February, I guess last week of January, whatever you want to look at it, it was sure looking like a quick monthly lower high was shaping on up, and bulls have completely recovered most of this pullback here at this point. So I would not be shocked to see a 2-day lower high compared to 79.29. But if that were going to shape up, we'd have to lose the daily uptrend now at this point. So key support is going to be low of Monday, 75.54. As long as that is below price, then bulls remain in control here. So very strong day or very strong week here for oil. Let's see, NVDA, SMCI talked about. Let's take a look at Tesla. Tesla's in an interesting spot. We know we are looking for a quarterly higher low. And we also know there's no real signs of it yet, but we can see the roadmap for where this could shape up, or how this could shape up rather, and it's an inverse head and shoulders, straight from a textbook. So you got your left shoulder, you got your head, and bulls want to show up to get that right shoulder, get a daily uptrend, and see some weekly bounce continuation. We broke the weekly stair step by a skosh, but rejected right from daily resistance, and this POC of the structure from back here, which has been very reactive. So it's clearly still being defended by bears almost to the tick on Monday. So bulls got to get up and through that. Then we'll be looking back down to this low, which is the same as that value area high. And yeah, so aggressive bulls looking for a shift on Tesla want to see 175.01 hold and get back up and through 194.73 and 196.36. So it's worth noting we had some relative strength here today. You remember when we were looking at the semiconductors and how everybody else went to new lows of the initial CPI reaction. While Tesla did get a new low of day, we held the 9 a.m. low. So we've got some relative strength here, and that is showing us that perhaps Tesla bulls are going to be making a move for a daily higher low. And they would need to break 187.26 to get it done. And the Tesla QQQ ratio is showing a little bit of bullish divergence. We haven't retraced as deep on this as we did on Tesla. So that's what bulls like to see. But same thing, you got to confirm the inverse head and shoulders. And Tesla bulls can only have confidence if the ratio comes along with that. So what else we got? MSOS, week close. We know we are consolidating on the weekly. We know we're coming into weekly 12 EMA. We know we're looking for the weekly higher low, but not there's no sign of it yet at this point. We can just call it how it is. So daily stair step down off of the top, and bulls would need to break 909 tomorrow to get a daily bounce underway. Then you need to bounce big enough on the daily to regain a daily uptrend, and that's the route for a weekly higher low to shape on up. But at this point, we have an hourly lower high set right off of 5-minute overbought conditions. So that's a reverse back burner. Bears nailed it, and we closed near the low of the day. So I know a lot of folks are eager to buy these MJ dips, but got to see bulls prove something, and the hourly downtrend is just going to be our guide. And last but not least, we've got Bitcoin. So saw a pretty sharp pullback on the morning with the CPI reaction. And the big question is, how long can this daily stair step keep on going? Well, the size of this 4-hour bounce at this point decreases the odds that bears can confirm a 4-hour downtrend from here to get daily consolidation underway. We're certainly still looking for a 4-hour lower high compared to 50,423. But at this point, it would be tough for bears to go to lower lows because we've retraced more than half of the move back. So just keeping it simple with the daily stair step on Bitcoin. And then when that's lost, we'll be looking for a daily higher low. If bulls hold the 12 EMA, then that is healthy. And let's take a look at Mara too while we're at it. So daily inside bar, Mara bulls are very pleased to correlate more to Bitcoin today than to the NASDAQ. So daily stair step here continues to be the guide. Big question is, are we going to get a lower high on the weekly compared to 31.30 and tighten on up? Or are we going to go to higher highs? If we're going to go to higher highs, bulls need to keep the increasing bull volume coming at this point. So low of today going to be key support tomorrow. If that's lost, we'll be looking down to daily 12 EMA for a higher low. And as long as bulls hold the daily 12 EMA, then they remain fine in a weekly context. So that is pretty much that there. We'll see, can bulls get daily bounces underway tomorrow by regaining some hourly uptrends? And then can bears confirm daily downtrends as a result of the next daily bounce to tell us that this time is different? And even if that does happen, we're not going to lose track that we're looking for weekly higher lows. We know the burden of proof, bigger picture for bears is they have so many trends that they need to reclaim. And at this point, this is simply daily consolidation off of the highs on the S&P 500. Size of the next bounce will be very telling. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you around.